Hey guys, Kayan here. I'm going to be starting doing a video series of the replays or live matches of a draft league that I'm in for Pokemon Sword and Shield that my friend NC has started up. I am the coach of the Brining Buizels, 8-Rain-esque style team, but here we go. So I missed recording live for the first 2 weeks of the draft league, so I'm going to go over the replays, go over what I thought was going to happen, my predictions in each match, what was going through my mind, etc. So our first match was against the Darkrai Knights, a team led by JStar. NC actually helped me team build for this team and prepare. We were expecting Togekiss, Butterfree for his GMX, either Alakazam or Espeon for a fast special sweeper for him, Dusclops for the added defensive ability, plus Will-O-Wisping my team could be very good versus my mons like Seismitoad and Mamo. And then we expected maybe either Talonflame or Terrakion as the last few. As for my team, to prepare for JStar's team, I decided to go with a Rancor as usual with Pelipper, Kingdra, Araquanid, and Seismitoad, with Seismitoad and Kingdra both having Swift Swim to be able to outspeed some of his key mons. Into the nitty gritty, we got Pelipper here, Pelipper. We choice scarfed him just so he could outspeed certain mons here and there and to make sure that he can get off those critical U-turns or weather balls or hurricanes he needs to get the good damage off. Drizzle obviously to set up the rain. We wanted to go for a more speedy type Pelipper that can get off some good damage with Weather Ball and Hurricane. So we did 252 speed and then a good amount of special attack. We wanted to make sure it could live a couple certain hits from a few key mons, so we put a little bit into defense, special defense, and HP, and we made it timid so it could outspeed certain mons. For Kingdra, this is just your typical Life Orb or Choice Specs Kingdra, where it's pretty much Swift Swim, Choice Specs, or Life Orb, and then you have your like 3 key moves, which is Surf, Hurricane, and Draco. I decided to put Flip Turn on this thing just to make sure I could get out of any situation that could be pretty bad for me, like if I get stuck versus Whimsicott or something, and I needed something to get out of there immediately. I could Flip Turn out. And so, it's standards with mostly speed and special attack with a little bit of HP to make sure I can live a Moonblast from Whimsicott or a Dazzling Gleam from Togekiss, etc. On to Mamoswine. So this was essentially going to be either my Stealth Rocker or Revenge Killer. I Focus Sashed it, so it could pretty much get a revenge on anything. If one of my mons goes down, I can send in Mamo, who has maxed out attack and speed to make sure that if a mon goes down, I can send him in, get either an Icicle Crash or Earthquake off, and then Ice Shard them for any remaining HP that I needed to with priority. So this mon was a key mon in taking down certain ones of his. For example, Togekiss, Mamoswine does a fantastic job of just walling Togekiss for everything. It takes down Butterfree, it can kill Whimsicott, it can kill Talonflame. That's if I ran Rock Slide, which I did this time around. But it can kill Terrakion. It's just a very good offensive sweeper. And if I need to get rocks up, I have Stealth Rocks here. And then we have Big Boy the Araquanid. Now, this one was... Essentially, I'm bringing this mon for Sticky Webs, just in case Pelipper cannot get Drizzle up consistently. If Pelipper goes down pretty quickly, I need a way to outspeed. And Sticky Webs with Araquanid made him pretty bulky too, so he can essentially live at least one hit, Sticky Web up, and then at least be able to do a move after sometimes. Liquidation with Water Bubble does insane damage to a lot of his team. Leech Life there for a couple coverage, and then Rain Dance just in case he thinks that if he gets Pelipper down and I have no way to set Rain up, that maybe I can catch him slacking and throw up a Rain Dance with Araquanid. Again, a pretty bulky defensive set, a lot of HP, defense investment, with some attack so I can get a good amount of damage off, because I need to be able to do things to like Terrakion or Incineroar, because some bulky mons here and there, Dusclops just in case, etc. Now we have Jolteon here. Jolteon is the standard Choice Specs special sweeper, full on speed and special attack. This thing hits like a truck and it outspeeds everything on his team besides like a Choice Scarfed Togekiss. Which is also why Pelipper has Tailwind on it, is so I can probably get up a Tailwind just in case, so Jolteon can outspeed that Choice Scarf. And then Oko with either Thunderbolt or Weather Ball. Weather Ball's here for coverage, because for example, Terrakion, I wouldn't really be able to touch this mon, But if I have Rain up with Pelipper, and I'm able to switch him with Jolteon, I can get up a Weather Ball, and that will OHKO it. It also does like 90% to Incineroar, I believe. And it OHKOs Talonflame easily. It also has Thunderbolt and Volt Switch for that. But this is a very key mon. It OHKOs Butterfree pretty easily with Thunderbolt. This mon is a very strong mon. I ran Volt Absorb because Arctozolt is on his team, just in case he throws out, or any type of lightning move from like Alakazam. If he runs Thunder or something like that, I can switch into Jolteon and try to absorb that, get my HP back, and keep going from there. I thought about Quick Feet, but the only mon on his team that can really status me much is Dusclops, and I don't think he's gonna burn a Jolteon. So Volt Absorb was the definite way to go here. And now for Seismitoad, this was definitely an interesting set of mine. So I put Rindobear on this thing just so we could live an Energy Ball from Alakazam and then knock off to OHKO it. Alakazam was a huge threat to my team looking at it. That mon took a chunk out of everything, especially if it's sashed, because I cannot hurt it with rocks. I put Stealth on this thing just in case I could rock something with Swift Swim if Mamoswine goes down. But like, since it has Magic Guard, I can't reliably get rid of that sash essentially from Alakazam, which means I have to just be able to OHKO it or outspeed it. And having a Rindobear there to make sure I can live at least one Energy Ball, knock off, and then do whatever after, because I'll be faster with Swift Swim, essentially guarantees that I can get rid of the Alakazam. Ice Punch is there for coverage for like Butterfree and Togekiss, just in case I'm stuck in a one-on-one situation with those. Ice Punch can do at least a good chunk to it, like about 50% to Togekiss. Liquidation just for a solid water stab move. And knock off, again, for Alakazam, and also good coverage. It's more of a bulky set, more HP in defense and special defense, just to make sure I can live those grass-type moves, like Energy Ball and stuff like that. A little bit into speed for the Swift Swim to be able to outspeed certain mons, and a little into attack just to make sure his knockoff can kill Alakazam, as well as Ice Punch and stuff, being able to do big damage to Togekiss and Butterfree and other mons like that. Alright, let's get into the battle. Alright, this is the replay versus JStar's team. Now, we got a few things wrong in our expectations and predictions for his team. I definitely did not see Arctozolt really coming. I had Voltazorb on Jolteon just in case, but I wasn't sure because it's an electric mon. It can do well versus my team. It can get a Bulk Beak off, but I also have a couple ground immunities like Mamoswine, Seismitoad, and Claydol, so I wasn't really sure if he'd bring it. But I guess he thought the electric super effective type to be able to kill Pelipper or Nid it was a pretty good option overall for him, I guess. Whimsicott was here. We weren't sure if we'd see it. It would be good if he got a Tailwind up, I guess, against us, because then he'd be able to maybe get some outspeed out of us with maybe Alakazam or Espeon. We were able to correctly predict Butterfree, Togekiss, Espeon, which we thought it would either be Espeon or Alakazam, and then Dusclops. These two were a little bit out of the blue. We expected maybe Incineroar, because it's a bulky mon that can get off some good moves and Parting Shot us if it needs to have something survive. Or Talonflame with his Brave Bird priority, which could do huge damage to Nid or Kingdra, Pelipper, or pretty much anything on my team besides Jolteon. But it's an interesting team. We didn't expect some of this, but we expected a good amount of it, which was good. So for my first player, I was thinking of leading either Araquanid or Pelipper. I either wanted to get Webs up almost immediately, because he doesn't really have much to stop that. The only thing he really could do would be Espeon and then Magic Bounce it back, which we were pretty scared of, because we didn't want our team getting slowed down, or else we'd be in real trouble here. Or we could go Pelipper first, get the rain up, and immediately go either Seismitoad or Kingdra and try to sweep his team. I believe I went Pelipper first here. Yeah, I went Pelipper first, and he went Espeon. I think here I just go straight off for the, I switch out because I don't want to get hit by anything, because Espeon's usually pretty quick. So I go into Nid here. He goes into Arctozolt. I predict him to switch out because he's not going to want to stay in on a Leech Life, which is going to do about 70%. And he definitely doesn't want his Espeon, which is his main sweeper, to get knocked down that low. So I predict that, go for Sticky Webs, which could have been bad, because if he stayed in, I would have gotten Sticky Webbed on me, because Magic Bounce. But it goes into Arctozolt here. Now, Bolt Beak can do a huge amount, so I decided to switch into Mamoswine, but he decides to go for Rock Slide here. So I guess he just didn't want to get walled by my ground types, so we decided to just go for a safer move of Rock Slide. But this does let me see one thing. He's faster than me. I'm a max speed Jolly Nature Mamoswine, and the only way Arctozolt would be faster is if it was Scarfed. And he went for Rock Slide again, so At that point, we know Arctozolt is scarfed, and so I've tried to predict a switch into either Butterfree or Togekiss here, because, you know, an Earthquake was pretty obvious coming from me. But I guess I over predicted, and that backfired on me, and I took some good damage off of that. So I decided to switch out and decide to, because I know he's locked into Rock Slide. So this will do very little damage to me. I'm able to predict to switch out into Espeon, so I go for knockoff here. No, I go for Stealth Rock here. I didn't think he'd actually switch out, my bad. I thought he would switch into something else, maybe Togekiss or something like that. So I was trying to get up rocks here just so I could get residual damage on things. He predicted that, went to Espeon, so I got rocked myself. This is where the Rindoberry comes into play. Grass Knot would have certainly KO'd me, but I'm able to go for knockoff. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. It was a roll, so I did not be able to kill him. So I switch out here because the Grass Knot would have killed me. So I switch on to Jolteon, which takes almost no damage. Jolteon is by far faster, so I'm able to get off a Shadow Ball and take down his Espeon, who is a key component of this. Alright, now Arctozolt. This man walls everything that Jolteon has. Literally everything. I think a Shadow Ball does like 30% to it, maximum. I cannot touch this thing with Jolteon. So, and I know Arctozolts usually run a ground move like Stopping Tantrum, so my only option here is I have to risk Pelipper. If I got Bullbeak, that was super unfortunate. It was a good play for him, but I was able to break that right with Stopping Tantrum. He goes to Dusclops. I go for Weather Ball here just because I know he's not gonna stay in while choiced. This does around 30%. This thing was a huge threat just because of how bulky it was. So I go into Silent Zone here trying to see what he does. He Trick Rooms, which is actually not good for me at all because I have half my team is Swift Swim. So I go for Knockoff here just to get rid of that Eviolite because that thing is huge. It just negates so much of my damage. So I wanted to get rid of that as soon as possible just so any of my other bonds could take this down a little bit easier. But Cytoad's also here just to stall that Trick Room now. Because if he's able to keep that Trick Room up, my team doesn't have too much to deal with it because my team is just hyper offense and super fast. Like with Swift Swim, with Jolteon, Max Speed Mamo, Scarf Pelipper, etc. So I need to get this Trick Room out of here. So actually, I calc this. I'm able to live a max roll Nightshade by like 2%. And then hit off a Liquidation after. She did get the max roll, but it's unfortunate. But I did die to burn here, but I got off of the key damage I need to where Water Bubble Arachnid will be able to kill it with a Liquidation. Also, Water Bubble makes it so I can't be burned, which is really nice, because Nid with the Water Bubble Liquidation does massive damage to pretty much everything on his team. Now, if I was able to get Rain Up here, I could have killed his Butterfree in an instant. But because I didn't have Rain Up, I wasn't able to kill with Liquidation, and he's able to max Airstream, which pretty much takes me out and gives him a +1 speed. And Trick Room's over now, so this thing's pretty fast. But I have Jolteon here, who still outspeeds a +1 Butterfree. And so I go for Volt Switch here, trying to get some pivoting around. I know he's going to switch out here into Arctozolt because a Volt Absorb. And so I predict that and go into Mamoswine. And I was correct. He does indeed switch out and go into Arctozolt here. And I'm just going to make the play here. He thinks he's probably going to go for the same thing again and Isu Crash, trying to predict something. Or he just doesn't know I have Earthquake, but I Earthquake here instead. Able to get rid of that Arctozolt. Very bulky mon. Whimsicott comes out. I Icicle Crash this thing. It's Sash, so Mamoswine isn't able to get the kill and goes down here. But that pretty much makes it so I get the kill off Whimsicott. Now here, I made a pivotal mistake in my opinion. Because if JStar had prepared correctly, this could have been awful for me. So I decided to go for U-turn here. I could have easily just gone for Tailwind instead, and just made it so both Kingdra and Jolteon outspeed a Scarfed Togekiss and a Max Speed Butterfree. I did. I went for U-turn and straight up killed, which is not good because a Scarfed Togekiss outspeeds Jolteon and is able to kill Jolteon with a roll here. I think it did. I think a Dazzling Game or Air Slash, can't remember, did like 43 to 52 or something like that, which was most likely going to kill my Jolteon, which was huge. Because if I lost Jolteon, I had to go for just straight up an Oko with a Kingdra, which I don't know if it can do, seeing how bulky Togekiss can be. So that was a bad play on my part. I should have Tailwind and not U-turned, which was my mistake. Luckily, he's not Scarfed. Instead, go for Extreme Speed. He said he wouldn't go for Extreme Speed because he wouldn't be able to pick off certain mons at low HP. I don't know why he didn't go Scarfed. He apparently didn't think about it until afterwards. But that was like he had King's Rock, so luckily we didn't get fletched, and I'm able to Oko Togekiss with Thunderbolt. And then he sent up Butterfree, and I'm able to OHKO this as well. And that is the game where we win 3-0 in our first draft league match of the week versus JStar and the Darkrai Knights. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll be back with the next week, which is versus Lingus, which is Slowbroke. And see y'all then.